morning, everyone. How is everybody today? Yeah, good, okay. I invite you to stand up. And here we go. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. Get up now. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. Get up now. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Run to Patty. Say good morning to one another. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Woo. So, how was your summer? I just want to first say thank you to Thor and Liza and Tiffany and Eric and Karen Oxrider for speaking so brilliantly all summer. Yes. Yes. So I have a lot to share today, and I'll do it as incrementally so as to not overwhelm you. But we come together is anybody here for the first time today? Oh, please stand for 1 second. No, don't stand. Sit right there. Tell me your name. Lillian. Now, I know the story. You used to come here. Your aunt used to come here. What was her name? See, I told you. I knew someone was going to know. Rose Freeberg. This is her niece. So, very good. Do you hear that? She said she's the best person ever. Yes, hello. But she's been to a whining ceremony. A wine event. So you feel like...
I've gone to the old place.
You went to the... on Townsgate. Yeah, that was 700 years ago. Yeah. So what is your name? Tell me again. Michelle. So I'm going to ask them a question. I just want you two to listen to it and see what you hear, okay? Okay, try not to listen to Debbie. Okay, so here we go. Yeah. We come together as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only. What is that? Michelle?
Did you hear anything?
Well, I have ADHD, so that was a lot. That was a lot of
So it was just a lot of noise.
yes,
Right, it's spiritual noise.
spiritual noise.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and what did you hear?
About the same as my daughter.
Okay, so we come together as a spiritual community to do one thing and one thing only, and you all said your own individual unique thing, and I always say to remember that right where I am, and that might shift, that might change a little bit as we move through the evolution of God. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. We have a gift for the two of you. It's a book called The Mental Equivalent, which is a tiny little pamphlet that literally can change your life, and you might have it. You might already have it if you have any of your aunt's things. I'm sure she had that book. Yeah, but it's a great book, and it's a pamphlet, so it's like easy and quick to read, and then your mind will just start percolating, I promise. So, everybody take a deep breath, if you would. So, one of the things I did, hello Diane, one of the things I did on my sabbatical was go to Yellowstone National Park with Doug and Corrine and Marcy and Al and Kevin. And Kevin was there. But mostly we went because Kevin is drawn to national parks. Kevin has a book that I think now is about this thick. And he spent a great portion of our trip pasting in pictures of the national parks and dragged us to every national park recreation center, whatever. Ranger station. Clearly I've learned a lot on my trip. And visitor centers to get stamps. How many did we go to, Corrine, would you say? 100? Maybe. Yeah. So in the beginning I had attitude about it. I was like, really? Do we need a stamp from every visitor center? And when we'd go into the visitor center, these guys, Corrine and Kevin and Marcy, all who had their books and their little stamps, they'd go in to get their stamps, and then I'd see these visitor centers, like all these things, these animals, and what happened there, and who founded the national parks. And I became so engaged, I started pointing out, wait, we're passing a visitor center. Don't we need it? Don't you need a stamp here? And it was just so beautiful. But the other thing we did was we saw stream after stream after stream, waterfalls, and so much beauty that it was so awesome and inspiring. And almost every little stream that rolled by, Doug or Kareem would turn to me and go, "Rolling River God." And so I had to come back and sing it because my mind now has so many images of that. So take a deep breath. Sorry, Robbie, you've been playing that thing for like an hour. So just take a deep breath. And just envision, if you will, for yourself, the nature of this universe rolling along. Rolling river God, little stone so smooth, but only once the water rushes through. And so I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this water's chill. But when I close my eyes and see you rushing
change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, and sometimes swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I long to stay and feel those roughest edges just wash away. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Rolling river god, little stone so smooth, but only once the water rushes through. I'll take another deep breath. Do you feel a little smoother? Good. Okay, thank Mindy Schinnerer. Thank you, honey. Thank you. So when I went away on sabbatical, I of course had to figure out who was speaking and who were going to be he's already shaking his head. He's so worried of what I'm going to say. You know, I had to pick out who was going to be the inspiration of the day for the rest of the year. And so I looked at, so who did I want to be my inspiration on the day I came back from 2 months off, which I've never taken in 22 years or 23 years. This is my first time I've ever taken time off like that. And when I came back yesterday, when everybody came to the house yesterday for the pool party, I turned to Thor and I went, Thor, I can't remember, I could go look at it on the computer, but who's the inspiration tomorrow? And he said, oh, it's Steve Brabant. I said, I chose Steve Brabant to come back from my sabbatical to. And I went, and there was a reason for that. I remember I had a reason. And you know what the reason was? There's not a person in this congregation that deserves more credit for holding this community together, for keeping it together, for having the integrity and the wisdom, which is what we're celebrating this month, to know what to do and to do it. This is a man who really does what it takes and stays in there. So please welcome our inspiration today, Steve Brabant. I knew you were worried
I was going to say something
you
sarcastic.
You are playing nice this morning, James. And I am glad to see that. But before we go any further, seriously for a moment, as a member of that congregation you're talking about, I personally want to say, on behalf of the congregation, welcome home. It has been missed. Please.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you.
So,
Wisdom.
yeah.
What do you got for us? No, when you hear that wisdom,
yeah.
what comes to mind?
Actually, I've thought about it, you know I would, quite a bit, but two different kinds of wisdom came up to me. Very different kinds of wisdom. The first wisdom is the wisdom that probably lots of people are aware of, we talk about, there's a communal understanding, maybe we don't use the same words, but the points I would make about that kind of wisdom is that first, that kind of wisdom rarely, if ever, is loud. It's quiet. Right. The second thing I've noticed about that kind of wisdom is that it's transactional. What is wisdom in one moment may not be wisdom in the next.
Be so wise in the next moment.
Yeah. And so, okay, the third thing is that I've noticed just in my life, I can go from moments of extreme ignorance to having an understanding of wisdom in the flash of an eye. I mean, just literally in a moment.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. It's all of a sudden I'm paying attention. I mean, I had an experience the other day just walking into a McDonald's. And it was about 10:30 in the morning.
Was that a wise choice?
Yeah, it was. I wanted to use the bathroom, James. So it was.
Oh, you didn't order like that?
No, I did not. But anyway, I was in one of my usual states of ignorance. I had all my judgments and everything, and I walked in the door, and all of a sudden I'm looking around, and it's all these elderly people. And my sense was that this was their one meal together of the day. And I just had a moment where I was just kind of tuned in to the energy in that room. It was absolutely profound for me. It really was.
Beautiful.
So that's all one kind of wisdom. The second kind of wisdom is much more difficult to talk about because you touched on it in your book on the 5 questions, and that's the wisdom of the soul. Mm-hmm. The wisdom that we travel in our own personal journey. Whereas that first kind of wisdom I talked about, there may be some common understandings. The kind of wisdom that's the wisdom of the soul, there is no common understanding. It is unique to every individual. Jung called it the individualization of things, which Jim Lockhart writes a lot about.
Yes.
And I just picked up a book by a guy named Peter Kingsley called The Dark Place. I think it's called The Dark Places of Wisdom. And in the first 2 pages, he had me hooked. And I've put the book aside because I'm going camping for 5 days, and I'm taking that book with me.
Oh, okay.
Up there. But in the first 2 pages, he says, if you're lucky, and put lucky in quotes, if you're lucky, you will reach a place where if you go forward, it's hell. If you go to the right or left, it's hell. If you turn around and try to go back, it's hell. And you're in that place, and that's when you start to hear something from your soul. I've experienced that in my life a number of times. And when I experience it, I'm old enough now, at 77. I'm finally old enough, I know, I better pay attention. I don't know what it's going to be or what the outcome is. I never know what outcome is. But the first time that I was conscious of it was my junior year in college. It was the last day to change classes, to add a class. And I'd been a science major. And I was a science major because, you know that line in The Graduate, plastics? You know, everybody, yeah, exactly. Everybody, you know, being raised by parents who had been through the Depression, very important to have a skill set to go get a job.
Yeah.
And they were paying for my education, so they had, they definitely felt like they had the right to help direct me, and they were very concerned about both their children getting jobs. So I was a science major. That worked my freshman year, Not so much my sophomore year. And I kept having these frustrating feelings. I didn't know what it was. The night before that day, you could change class, you could add a class. I remember walking out of the library, walking back to where I was living, knowing that I had another 2 hours or so of homework, and I just had it. Can't go forward, that's hell. Can't go back, that's hell. Can't go right, can't go left. And I just decided in the field between the campus and IV, I decided, the heck with it. I'm going to go study something I want to study.
And then you became a lawyer?
Well, that was later. That was another shot at wisdom.
Trying to make sense out of
Yeah,
that.
no. I walked into the anthro office the next morning and switched my major to anthropology, which back in 1966, folks, you have a shot at some good jobs today in anthropology. No shot in '66. But I switched my major. And two things happened that took me years to get perspective. Two things immediately happened. First, I lightened up and I really enjoyed the last 2 years of college. The second thing, and was just as important, the woman at the desk said, well, there's a class in Old World Archaeology. And she said, you take intro to archaeology? I said, no. She said, well, you have to get the professor's permission. He's right across the hall. And the class begins in 15 minutes. And I know he's in his room. So I walk in, it's a guy named Brian Fagan. I beg, we talked. 10 minutes later, we're walking to the class together. Fagan is still a friend of mine. He has played an important role in my life. But that's the piece about listening to the soul. And you don't know where it comes from. Mm-hmm. And you can't go forward, you can't go back, you can't left or right. In the consciousness that you have and the veneers that you have, I got to have a job, what people would think. I mean, I got to tell you, for the next 2 months after that, I didn't tell my parents that I switched major. And when I went home for Christmas or Thanksgiving, I had to tell them, and it got a little frosty at the Thanksgiving table. But I learned from that experience years later, not in the moment, but that's the kind of wisdom that's so different and so difficult. Writers have a difficult time trying to describe it.
Sure.
And there's no one way into it, and every individual's path, I believe, is different in what they're going to hear and what their soul, the journey their soul wants them to take.
And you're right. First of all, can we have a round of applause for that? That was great. So to me, what you just described is there is relational wisdom.
Yeah.
The stuff we get out here, how we relate to the world, how the world relates to us, we get wise from that. But then there's an intuitive wisdom, I will call it a quantum wisdom.
Okay.
That you're walking into McDonald's was relational. Whatever you needed to do, you had to go to the bathroom. And I still believe that. But then that wisdom that came through you was from the quantum field of pure understanding. And you got this moment of clarity. So I love that you brought both of those perspectives up, and I'm actually going to talk about that today.
Okay, good.
So see,
Good.
one mind.
One mind.
Yeah. Do you want to take us to our wise affirmation?
Oh my God, yes, that wise affirmation. I'm going to say it once. In honor of James, we've gotten by not saying it all for the 2 months he's been gone.
Wow.
We're back in school, folks. We're back in school, so we're going to say it twice. I'm going to say it once, and everybody's going to stand, and we're going to say it twice, as if we really mean it. So, my life is guided by infinite wisdom. So if everyone could stand, please. And together we say,
My life is guided by infinite wisdom.
Let's say it again.
My life is guided by infinite wisdom. Can we give it up
And
for
so it is.
Mr. Stephen Braybear, Dr. Stephen Braybear. Oh, that was great. That was really great. So I went to Big Sky Retreat. That was the end of my sabbatical, was to be the keynote speaker at a conference. Because I'm such an overachiever, I can't just go away and relax. And it was amazing. It really was amazing. And
A shout out to Dr. Geddes.
yes, to Charles Geddes, who is one of the founders of that 48 years of Big Sky Retreat. And it was the final one. It was the last of the 48 years. It was just amazing. Our musical inspiration for the week was a woman named Robin Hackett. And I know you're watching today because I'm about to sing your song. But what you don't know is that Robin's written a lot of the songs. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, One Big Family, Spirit, what's that other one? Spirit's House or something, I don't know. And this song I'm about to sing. And when she sang it at the retreat, we all were just so moved by it. And it really did help me understand something when I heard it. Because I went into my sabbatical with a lot of questions. So we'd like to sing that for you today. And Robin, if I make up lyrics, it's because I can't remember them. But they'll rhyme. We are 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 Larry, I'm not on. 1 2 1 2 there we are. We are all just mirrors. In your faces I see clearer than I've ever seen before. The heart is where we live from, to give all that we give from. This is what I truly know for sure. And love is what we're here for, to give and give more. What we're here for, to give and give more. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love. These are easy, so you're going to eventually be able to sing with us. I'm tired of all this anger and my own unkind behavior. Who am I to judge anyone at all? 'Cause when I look into you, I see the pain you've been through. I see the pain because I've been there too. But love is what we're here for, to give and give more. Love, join us. Love is what we're here for, to give and give more. Love is what we're here for. I am an instrument of my peace. I am an instrument of my love. Love, 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 love. Join us. I am an instrument of my peace. I am an instrument of my love. Love, 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 love. Well, let me hear
is what we're here for, to give and give more. Love is what we're here for, to give and give more. Now just to yourselves, I am an instrument of my peace. I am an instrument of my love. Love, love. I am an instrument of my peace. I am an instrument of my love. Love, love, How'd that feel? I do have notes. How did that feel? I want you to look at that lyric. I am an instrument, and thank you, Robin, for that lyric. I am an instrument of my peace. I am an instrument of my love. Peace only comes through you. Peace isn't something out there. Peace is something in here. Kind of like what Sherry's quote was for our meditation this morning. What was it Rumi said? Wisdom, I was wise when, what was it? I was wise, no, yesterday I was wise, and yesterday I was clever, and so I tried to change the world. Today I am wise, and I'm changing myself. Yeah. So when I left here, I left you all with a question. Do you remember what that question was? Clearly you've done a lot of work on it. Okay, so when I left here, I left you with a question, which is, who are we? Oh, yeah. It's nice to, it's always good for a teacher and a speaker to know how much impact they've had on their congregation. Yeah, so I left with the question, who are we as a community? Who is the Global Truth Center? Who are we? The reason why I left you with that question was because I wanted to know. You know, I had 20, what have I decided? I've been a minister for 26, I don't know, 22 years, whatever. I've had all those years, and in the beginning I knew I was a teacher of Ernest Holmes. I was a religious science minister. I knew who I was. I had so much gumption and so much go-get, and I just got out there and taught Ernest Holmes. And then things started to shift. And really studying Ernest Holmes, when I got to the end of his writings, his later writings, I was like, oh, crap. He's telling me, no, don't teach that. Teach whatever comes after me. I mean, that's how he felt. He was like, if you're still teaching my 1927 book in 50 years, and by the way, it's almost 100 years later, then you missed the point of the book. So I had a journey, a real journey to, who is the Global Truth Center? What is the Global Truth Center? What is my place at the Global Truth Center? And more importantly, what is my place in the world? And I was going to do all of that in 2 months. Right? So, and I gave you this quote at the top. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. So I gave you that quote on the last day I left. Who looks outside dreams. I've done a lot of dreaming. And I've done a lot of plans. How many of you have had your 5-year plans, your 10-year plans, your 20-year plans, and you have to keep redo them because the plans always change? I don't do that anymore. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't have a 10-year plan. I don't have a plan for my retirement. I don't have any of that. Much like you said, if I go forward, I'm in hell. If I go sideways, I'm in hell. It's all hell until I get tapped in, until I really get tapped in. So I need to look inside. I need to look inside and find out. So for the past 2 months, I've been doing both of those things.
I started my sabbatical by jumping into producing our musical. How many of you got to see it? I'm so glad. Thank you for your support and for being there. But can I tell you, I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to go direct a musical again that I wrote. It's so much fun, and I have an amazing cast. When I started the rehearsals, I was like, what am I? Why did I think I wanted to do this? Kind of like when I wrote my one-man show, Sissy Boy, and I had to be in Connie Milner's wedding dress at the top of the show, because the show opened with me in a wedding dress, sitting center stage, and a little spotlight hit me, and I was a little sissy boy hiding in a closet in a wedding dress, his mother's wedding dress. That's how the play opened. Don't you all wish you saw it now? Yeah. And I can still fit into that wedding dress. Anyway, every night I went to put that wedding dress on, I cursed myself for even thinking I wanted to do this. And I've had that experience as an actor, where I'm backstage just going, why, God, why did I think I wanted to do this? Because the lights are out, the orchestra's playing, and you're like, you gotta start. And then once I start, I love it. And then it's over, and everybody's telling you how good you were, because they don't tell you when you're bad. Everybody's telling you how good you were, and you're feeling like, I love this. And then time goes by, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, you get back to the theater, and you're like, oy, that wedding dress, I gotta do it again. Well, that's how Bells felt when I started. I was like, okay. And then I was also like, can I still do this? I haven't done this in about 8 years. Can I still do this? And I ended up having a great time, an amazing time. But you know what I noticed in that particular first 2-3 weeks of my sabbatical? I wasn't as competitive with myself anymore. This teaching has taught me so much. I was like, I'm just going to show them what I got. And that's got to be enough, because God just does what God does, and it's enough. Some will like it, some won't. I never had that attitude before. Before it was like, this has to be the perfect, best Broadway show ever written, and everyone must tell me that. Luckily, they did, and it was okay. No, they didn't. I got lots of notes. But I had a different perspective. And then I went right from there. We finished that, and I flew right to Chicago, where Kevin was presenting and producing and starring in his musical, 44, the unofficial story of Barack Obama as told through the hazy recollection of Joe Biden. It's really a funny, hysterical musical written by a Saturday Night Live writer. It's just amazing. It's not really a Republican or Democratic show. It goes all across the board. It was great. But I went to Chicago, and I became an usher. I was helping. So I'm just handing out programs as people are coming in, and I'm sitting there going, why am I here? What is my purpose? You know, who am I? It was a little schizophrenic going from Bells Are Swinging to 44. Then we get home from 44, which, by the way, was a huge success, and watching people react to this show was fascinating. I almost saw every performance. Usually I could just hand out programs and go back and watch TV or something. I stayed and I watched every performance. It was that fulfilling. After that, we went to Yellowstone National Park. You've already heard what a stamp collector I am now. I'm not. I just enjoy watching him do it now. But it was amazing going through all of those parks. But I still had the question. I was still asking myself the question constantly, who am I? And who is this? What is this thing called ministry? And do I want to do it anymore? Knowing I had to end my sabbatical at the Big Sky Retreat. Now, the different thing about the Big Sky Retreat is usually when you give a keynote talk, you usually give like an hour, maybe keynote talk. You're the keynote speaker. You speak. At the Big Sky Retreat, you kind of are the retreat. You give the keynote opening 2-hour lecture. The next day, you go through a bunch of things, and then you sit on a panel where everybody talks to you for 2 hours. And then the next day, you give your next 2-hour lecture, right? So it was something I hadn't done before that way. In a Sillamar, you just give a 20-minute talk, and they time you. You go to 21 minutes, you're off the stage. This was more like, it was just, and so I was at the end of my sabbatical, so I was like, I haven't spoken in like 7 weeks. Can I still do it? As if I'd be out of words. And then Dr. Liza, was also a speaker at the conference. And the day she spoke, there were 3 speakers, each giving 20-minute talks. And the first person got up and gave a very solid talk. The second person got up and was amazing. And I was sitting there and I was like, Liza's going to have to follow amazing, yet she's phenomenal. But I had a moment. I was like, because the girl was so great before her, just blew. I just thought she was amazing. Young, 32-year-old, she was great. And then Liza got up and blew the room apart. Just blew the room apart. So much so, now remember, I'd already given a 2-hour lecture and a panel, and this guy comes up to me and goes, she's your student, right? I said, well, now she's my colleague. He said, no, now she's your equal. And I said, let's not get this too far. But what that moment did for me was really showed me that the student has become the teacher. In so many cases, Tiffany, Eric, Karen, all of my students have become the teacher. And that some of the, Dr. Lori, who was there as well, I used to feel like I had to do everything. And one of the reasons why I was asking that question, who are we and who am I in this thing called the Global Truth Center, was, do I want to come back and do everything I've been doing for the last 22 years the way I've been doing it, which, by the way, is called insanity. To do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Because I want a different result. I really do. What I was going to call this talk today, What Sabbatical? Did you get that yet? As though I never took one. It's like I came back exhausted. I came back like, someone said at the pool party yesterday, you look so rested. I went, really? I said, then I am a better actor than I know. Yeah. Instead, what I'd like to do is answer the question of who are we? Because I have an answer now. A very profound answer. So this was the name of the conference at Big Sky, the bottom, A Journey to Love. And this was my first slide in my first presentation that I gave, called The Journey Begins. And it actually did for me. I think the first 2 months, the first 3/4 of my sabbatical was about letting everything go. Jumping into a musical, jumping into a second musical, jumping into visitor centers all throughout Yellowstone Park, and then the journey begins. That last 5 days at Big Sky, of me being able to really ask myself a big question that I asked you all to think about, which is, who am I? Who are we? Who are we? Who is this? What is this? And what is this? Why do we come? Why do we show up on a Sunday and come sit and watch people sing and somebody talk? What does it do for us? Is it doing something for us? Is it important? Is it necessary? Does it contribute? I mean, all of these questions were in my mind. So I have a ministry that people call the I Am God ministry. Not an easy ministry to have. I Am God is still not something that is easily digestible for the mass audiences. How many people in here are still digesting it and still working their way through it? Okay, so see, there's a handful. Really? There's a handful of you still working your way through it. But you know what? You know what I found out? So am I. I am still digesting and working my way through this from a position of wanting it to be so internal that I don't even think about it. It's not a topic anymore. I'm not there. It's still a topic. So, when I bring I Am God to conferences, which I do, it's usually very surprising for the congregation. But you know what I found this time? Because, most of them there were meeting me for the first time. I started with this, I Am God. I started with this. What is this thing called God? And I got to I Am God. And the room was like a sponge. Right, Liza? Just wanting to hear this, wanting to understand this. And it was so amazing. 2 hours went by so fast. I was worried when I got up there. I was like, 2 hours? Can I really be interesting for 2 hours? As if. But yes, I could. But I also didn't want to just get up and do stand-up. Right, Tiff? We got to add some spirituality to our stand-up routine. So I was funny, but I really stuck to my story. I am God. And then I went to, what is spirituality? You know, we don't call ourselves a church, Nick, thanks to Nick. Nick tortured me for the first couple of years here. Every time I said church, it was corrected. I don't say church anymore, except now when I'm telling you I don't say church anymore. No, we are a spiritual center. But what the hell is spirituality? Most people think spirituality is just some kind of liquid stuff that you use instead of God, because you don't want to say God, but you say spiritual, but you mean God. I don't. And I have 2 examples of that. These are the quotes I used. The quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to the material or physical things. That's what spiritual means, one of the meanings. Right, what you were saying. Not out here in the practical world of what's going on, but something inside of you. Something within you that just knows and knows that it knows and listens and adapts. Or the second one, which is a shift in priorities, allowing us to embrace our true selves in a more profound way. So one of the questions I had to ask myself was, what am I here for? Why are we here? Are we here to know more about ourselves? Well, yes. But I can go to LifeSpring, or what's that called? Landmark, and learn more about myself, and learn more about how to live in this world. Both programs, I think, very valuable. I can go to anything. I can go to Tony Robbins and learn how to work more, have better consciousness of money. I could go to, you know them all. But that's not what it's about. To embrace my true self in a more profound way. Where do I go to find me? Not just how do I live better in this world, but where do I go to really find me? I found me in a number of waterfalls, a number of streams, and a number of bison. So many bison. At the beginning of our trip, we were looking for bison. It was just like, come on, we got to find a bison. At the end of our trip, we were stampeded by a herd of bison. No, we really weren't stampeded, because I'll be called on that later. There were maybe a couple hundred bison. We were on a road, and there were like a couple hundred bison, and they had literally, to the right, to the left, and in front of us, stopped, would not let us go for the rest. We had to turn around and go all the way back to where we started. In fact, one bison, remember this one? That one bison, when our car got pretty close, just turned and looked right at the car, and we were like, shit, back up. Back up, we are not going through these bison. But you see them in their bison's eyes. At the Big Sky Retreat, I was at the end of the panel, everybody left, and I had to stay for some reason, so I had to walk back alone. So I'm walking through the Big Sky Retreat, Big Sky ski lodge, at resort, and I got to a certain point, and this fox, I saw a fox. I was like, we haven't seen a fox yet. And this fox just comes walking and hopping down off of this little hill. I'm walking towards me, and I was like, do foxes bite? Do foxes eat people? I was like, but I stopped. I was like, surely nothing's going to happen to me. And the fox just kind of walked by me over to where there were some tables to see if there was any food there. And I was like, what does a fox stand for? Ironically, it stands for wisdom in the animal world. And I was like, wow, okay. And I just watched it for a while, and I turned, and as I turned to walk back to our condo, the fox started following me. Then I asked that question again, do foxes bite? And if he didn't find food, how tasty do these calves look? I had shorts on. So the fox kind of followed me, and then I finally just waited before I went into my place and just stopped. And it just kind of did this and then walked off into the distance. What sometimes wisdom does for me too. It follows me. It follows me along. It feels like it's me. And then in an instant, it goes off into the distance. And I'm back in the Newtonian world of form and facts and getting my wisdom from what's going on instead of what is. So that was towards the end of my trip at Big Sky. So the title of my talk today is A New Perspective. Gloria Savage did this slide. Fabulous picture. It is exactly how I feel right now. I feel like I am out on a limb with everything I know, and I'm looking down at this abyss of, I'd say emptiness, but what I want to say is the quantum field of infinite wisdom. And all the universe is asking me to do is stop looking and jump. Stop trying to decide, can I do this? What do I want to do? How will I do this? And looking in all directions, just frickin' jump. Because what you're looking at, you are. And I got there and I was like, okay, so what am I? Who am I? Well, it was very simple. I'm the quantum field. That's who we are. The conference name was A Journey to Love, but love is God, and God is the quantum field. God is energy. It's all energy. That's it. It's the most simple understanding of God, that it's this creative energy of all things, the fox, the bison, the streams, the waterfalls, the visitor centers. It's all God, all of it. So I started talking about the quantum field, and I started understanding the quantum field, because what is the quantum field? In your point of view, the most important part for you to know about this, the quantum field is your mind. That's all it is. Everything takes place in your mind. Nothing is real. Nothing is real other than what's real to you. I mean, just think about that for a minute. You're sitting here. Corrine has her idea and vision of what's going on right now. Doug has his. They may not be the same. Both of them are real to them. But what's really going on, we are sitting in this room filled with energy. Particles in space, commingling, bouncing off of each other. Creativity everywhere. Ideas everywhere for each one of us to decide what to do with. And none of us will do it the same way. And that is a great, great, great thing. So, I came back with a new perspective. And that perspective was, I don't know. That's my perspective. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what's next. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in the 20 marketing tips to make this church bigger. I'm not. I'm interested in this, my new class, Quantum Living. Because it's time to start teaching the quantum message. Not just the science of mind, but quantum living. So I came back, Thor and I met. I said, I'm going to teach a 10-week class on quantum living, meaning I'm going to take the basics of the quantum metaphysical world and break it down each week for us to use in the way we live our lives. So all of you should be in that class. Because this is a brand new, I'm writing it from scratch, from I don't know to I think I get it. That's my new tagline. From I don't know to I think I get it in 10 weeks. That's it. Quantum Living 101. But that's what I came back knowing. Here's what I want to do. And the question was, what is the Global Truth Center? You know what? Do you remember when you used to go to church? Remember when you used to go to church when you were little? How many of you went to church when you were little? Wait, why did you go to church? Probably because your parents took you to church, right? I don't want to be in church. I'm so glad you brought your son to church today. I don't want to have people in church because they think they have to go to church to live a moral life. I don't want people to go to church because they think they have to go to church to pray to God or to get spiritual. You are spiritual. You are God. So this idea of this spiritual center, because that was church back then. A spiritual center, it can't just be about showing up on a Sunday and in fellowship and having a good time and then having 7 more days before we do it again. That's not what I want to be about. That's not the minister I want to be. It's not the minister I am. I want to teach. I want to be a teacher. I love teaching this stuff. I love the students, and then the students teach me. I love teaching. So I came back and I told Thor, I said, first of all, it's a 10-week class, not an 8-week class. We don't need 4 classes. We need 3. We redid everything for this upcoming year. I want us to find a way to evolve, to grow, to expand. Doug Draper asked a question at the panel, which literally turned the whole room upside down. And I'm sitting there going, here it comes. He's asked this question before, and I'm equipped to not know the answer. But some people on the panel had a hard time with the question. You know, the kind of, was a little insulting in the beginning about the question itself. And the question was, does God evolve? Remember that, Scott, in the last advanced consciousness class? Does God evolve? Well, we've been teaching for years. God is perfect, whole, and complete. Cannot evolve, needs not evolve, has every answer. Everything is already right there. We're just the lower level of this that hasn't gotten it yet. That was so old thought. New thought is, yes, God is evolving. The universe is evolving. The universe expands and grows. Science teaches us that. And if that's what God is, if that's what you are, if that's who I am, Jesus knew that we were always evolving. We were always growing. We were always being the more when we let ourselves. That's what the Global Truth Center is. And let me tell you, I'm out there in the world. I know what other centers and I know what other churches are doing, and I know what they are teaching. And it is time for the Global Truth Center to really be a North Star for what the quantum metaphysical world is about. I appreciate that. And the amazing thing is, it's not just me. We have the most incredible ministers at this center and in Palm Springs, the most incredible teachers. We all are on the same page of where we're going. That's who you are as the Global Truth Center. I really do think every seat in this place should be filled, and there should be like waiting room to get in, because people want what we have. But you know what we got to do first? Tell them what we have. Show them. And that means living this stuff. Quantum living 101. Not just knowing what it is, but living it from the inside out. So, here's how I closed my big sky, the last 3 things I asked on that first day. It was this: who am I? Who are you? Just for you to answer for yourself. Who are you? That's one. The second one was, who was I? You all started like that. He looks a little troubled. But we all started this way. We came in as fully orbed, realized. We always think the child's not fully orbed and realized, but guess what? You all took care of that baby. Think about it. That baby got everything it needed in parts of the world. In other parts of the world, the evolution continues. But for us, we know what to do when a baby arrives. So it's who am I right now? Who was I? And it's not about getting back to that. I don't think we need to get back to my innocence. It's not about that. But it's getting back to the center. And then the last one, which is most important, what am I willing to become? That's my last question. And that was the question I came with this morning. Who am I willing to become to lead the Global Truth Center? What am I willing to do to lead the Global Truth Center? And for each one of you, who are you willing to become by being a part of something that has you out on a ledge, asking you to jump, to dive in, because that's what I'm doing. That's the rebirthing that came through me on this whole trip. Global Truth Center is poised to lead the way in a brand new understanding of science of mind. We've been playing with it and edging into it over the last 5 to 10 years. Well, I still want to play, I still want to have fun, but I'm ready to jump. Are you ready to join me? Yes. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's take a deep breath. How do you feel? Good, 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 good. Ready, right? Yes. Okay, then I invite you to take out your contributions, your tithe, your giving. Obviously, your financial support is what matters in how much of this we get out into the world. So I thank you in advance for really upping your game in supporting the financial movement that this center requires in order to go forward. Summers are always tough. Summers are always a little bit less financially solvent for a center. And I, of course, exacerbated that by leaving for 2 months of the summer. That always, some people just want to come hear me. Someday they're going to listen to Tiffany or Liza or Eric and realize, we don't need him. They're great. Thank you, I appreciate that. But it's true, they are great. So I just say thank you to all of you. If you give me some pretty music. Stephen, why don't you do our little treatment for the giving?
So in this moment, I ask all of us in this room and those who've joined us online to just be aware, be fully present, and invoke that energy of gratitude and giving, because it's such a powerful energy, knowing that we have the power to create something as magnificent as our community, and to move it in ways that we didn't even think about a very short time ago. So we are blessed to be here. We are blessed to be part of this community. We are blessed to be fortunate enough to be able to contribute to the well-being of our community. And we do so with a profound sense of gratitude and a profound sense of joy. So I give myself over to this. As my word is the law, we affirm it by simply saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Stephen.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Please sing with us.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all
so it was, and so it is, and so it shall always be. Blessed. Mindy Shitter.
Good morning. It's Sunday, September 8th, and here are your GTC announcements. Coming up on the calendar, join us after service this morning for our Sunday breakfast celebration. And be sure to say thank you to each of our amazing volunteers who made this event possible. On Friday night this coming week, join us for Soul Immersion, our popular sound bath experience. Dr. James will be leading this event, and it's a great way to kick off your weekend. Soul Immersion starts at 7 p.m., and a love offering of $20 will be gratefully accepted at the door. Next Sunday, we have our second Divine Dining event of the fall. It's Bunko at the Beach, hosted by Corrine and Doug Draper, Dr. James and Kevin, and Thor and Aaron. We have just 4 spots left, so we encourage you to sign up today. Come see Thor in the lobby after service. Also next Sunday, the Wisdom Women will be having their monthly meeting. The theme is Women Drumming for Wellness. This event is live in person only, and all equipment will be provided. Save the date of October 6th for our Community Holiday Boutique. If you are a craft or treat vendor, or you know one, please see Diane Brabant to learn how you can be part of this event. At the end of this month, you have the opportunity to participate in a fundraiser for Casa Guatemala. You can find the link on our calendar page. Finally, our fall classes begin next week, and our first class will be taught by Dr. James. It's called Quantum Living 101, and the class begins on Monday, September 16th. You can sign up now on our website. You'll find the link right on our calendar page. You can always find out what's going on and make a donation using the QR codes you'll find on the back of our monthly theme cards. Use the camera on your smartphone, and you'll go right to the calendar and donation pages on our website. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Thank you, Thor. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right.
Wait, what's the first slide you have there, Thor? Oh, that's nice. What's the next one?
Bunko.
Bunko.
All right. There are 4 spots left.
How many of you have ever played Bunko? I learned it here at Westlake. One of the funnest games ever.
And we have 4 spots left at the home of the Drapers next Sunday afternoon.
Which
right?
means you're at their beachfront property.
Okay, we did
Bayfront property. Harborfront property. They have a beautiful boat, a harbor. It's really gorgeous.
This is a blast. We're going to be there playing. So if we would love to fill this up today. 4 spots available. We need you to commit and pay today. See Thor right afterwards. 4 spots are left. That's it. When those fill up, we're done. So let's sell that event out today. 4 spots, Bunko, next Sunday afternoon. It's going to be a blast. Talk about your class.
Yeah, I already talked about it. But see what this says? Understanding the quantum worldview as a way of living life to the fullest. There's 2 worldviews. Newtonian worldview, that's when you believe everything you see and everything you decide, you base on what's going on. Then there's the quantum worldview where you're running the show. How's that sound? Yeah, that's the class. Take it.
Okay, the last announcement I have, Casa Guatemala.
Yes.
Oh,
They can go to our website right now and sign up for the class. Go to the calendar page.
Okay, good. It's open.
Is it online only or is it hybrid?
It's online. The class will be online, so you can take it from wherever you are. We're selling this to the whole world. We're going out to all the other churches, too, to get on board with this.
Centers.
Centers, sorry. And some of the churches.
Some churches, but all mostly centers.
Yes, okay, good.
All right, but the question was, will you also be in person?
I'm still thinking about that, whether I want to do it online Thor's up there going, no, you don't. Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
All right, okay, Casa Guatemala.
So we have a little video to show you. Hit it there, Thor.
Thanks to our incredible hosts, Rachel and Brandon Costin, Friends of Guatemala Children is once again having their annual Malibu fundraiser.
With the support of the Global Truth Center, we're once again setting out to make some major changes to our boats.
Thanks to our successful fundraiser last year, our new boat, the Rachel, is ready to move people, but our work boats have seen better days. We need to repair these 2 boats so that all of our supplies and the food and the fuel that we need for the children's everyday well-being is easily and safely transported. But that's not all. We also need to make some major changes to the bathrooms in the girls' house and the teacher's house. After many years of wear and tear, there is some water damage on the second floor bathroom. We want to rip up this floor during the vacation time in November and December and replace it with a cement floor that will make the house last for so many more years. Once we replace the floor and put down the cement, we will be able to redo the showers, put in new tiles, add a few coats of paint, and pretty the place up so that when the girls return, they have a beautiful place to make themselves also feel beautiful. Our teachers give so much to Casa Guatemala, and we want to make sure that we take good care of them. That's why we need to make similar changes to their house too. The wear and tear in the bathrooms have caused some damage, and we need to replace it. Our plan is to rip this up, put in a new cement floor, and ensure no further damages. All of this will be possible if you join us for our Coastal Country fundraiser on September 28th from 5 to 9 with a special guest performance by Ellis Bryant. Can't make it? Make a donation today.
Thank you, Thor. So, as
Let's
you
talk
know,
about what that event is.
yes, Rachel and Brian Coxton live up at the Malibu Canyon. They have a gorgeous plantation.
You can call it a Malibu estate.
And they throw a fundraiser every year for Casa Guatemala. I hope you could see what it looks like, those buildings look like. You literally do walk into some of the classrooms, and the floor, I always worry I'm going to fall through it. And same thing with the bathrooms. But I want to bring something up. These kids there, the people there, are as happy, so happy. They don't notice what's going on around them so much as they live from the inside out. I do not go there because I feel sorry for these people, these children, or I have empathy for them. None of that. They bring me up every time I go to Guatemala. So our job is to not see them as, a third world that needs our help, but as amazing people who deserve better surroundings. And that's how we come from here, from a place of love and empowerment. So if you can make the party, great. It is going to be an amazing party. She's putting in a full dance floor for two-stepping, a full country band, and this country western singer, who's amazing, going to give a performance.
We're going to be two-stepping.
We are. I mean, I love to. I'm going to put my cowboy boots on. So this is for a QR code. If you just put it on your phone, it'll show you what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if you can't make it, this is our yearly ask for helping to support Casa Guatemala.
And my next follow-up question to that, in addition to the fundraiser, are we helping to solicit people who will go to Casa Guatemala in October as well?
We're not going in October. We're going next spring
I
after
see.
we rebuild all of this again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Before you break, I had one more question for
What's
you.
that?
What was your favorite ranger station or visitor center of the entire trip?
Sandy.
Sandy?
Remember Sandy?
Sandy.
There was a woman that was at one of the visitor stations who I swear has not talked to a person in 10 years. She was so bubbly.
She was in the Northeast after we went through the Lamar Valley.
And you could tell she really wanted people to be there because that little visitor center didn't have a stamp. So she hired someone to make her a stamp. So she had her own stamp. Kevin and Corrine now have it in their books.
And Marcy.
And Marcy. And they were great stamps.
They were great.
Yeah, but she was so joyful.
She wouldn't let us leave. She told us the story of her life.
Yes. And it was wonderful. That was my favorite one.
Okay.
Although, no.
I was going to remind you, I wanted to tell
The sound bath.
The sound bath, which was where?
I don't know. What was it? Rockefeller.
The Rockefeller Reserve Visitor Center, which was off
Scott,
the beaten path.
You have to go here. We walked back, found it out of, it was just
off the beaten path.
And it was a sound bath like I've never experienced. You
It
sit in the
was
middle of the room.
spectacular.
It was amazing. So glad you asked.
And see, that's why I'm reminding you of these things. And then Old Faithful. And what happened at Old Faithful. So you ready for the randomness of life?
So
You
at
all
Old
know
Faithful,
how important.
every how many minutes is it?
It goes about every 90 minutes.
Every
right?
90 minutes.
So think of this. Of all the random days that could be in life and all the random times you can show up at a place. And here we are, 6 of us,
Sitting.
waiting for Old Faithful to go off. And it goes off the time we are there.
At 5:55.
Think about the odds and circumstance that takes for that to happen.
And at 5:55, it just, I'd even said, because it was like 5:52, I was like, okay, Nora, if you want to communicate anything today, erupt at 5:55. And they told us it wasn't going to erupt till like 6:05 or something.
Well, something.
And
It
all of
was
a sudden,
close.
Explain what the 5 is for people that don't know.
oh, the 5 is, I gave Nora 5 kisses every night since she was a baby. And it went into her adulthood. At 19, the last day she sang at this center, she followed me up the stairwell because I was running late, shocking, running, and like jumped on me, knocked me down, and then said, "You never gave me 5 kisses." And I had to give her 5 kisses. And you know, those were the
No, I think-
last 5 kisses.
So at any rate, our phones.
But that's what that is.
Our phones, for us, go off every day at 5:55. And I believe even when we were videoing it, your video track says Old Faithful erupted at 5:55 on the day we were there.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, thank you.
How about that?
Yes.
Just for memories.
Anyway,
And now you can bring in
I
the-
think there's one more.
Oh, Consciousness on Demand.
Yes, who are they today? Is it you two? Oh no, it's you by yourself? Just you?
I'm plenty.
Okay, stand up, Diane.
She's all there
This
is.
is Diane Braband. She will be, I guess, where are you going to be? You're going to be over there? Or?
Yes.
Okay, she wants to be in the living room. She will be in the living room. If you have a question or something that came up today, you're ready to jump off that, but you want a little push, go over to Diane. She's a great pusher. Go over to Diane. She's going to know the truth for you. Okay. Okay.
We'll see everybody in Palm Springs. If you're watching from Palm Springs, we will see you this coming Saturday in Palm Springs. All of our friends there. And now you
I
can.
also, yes, thank you, Kevin.
Okay, I'm done.
You are done.
Am I?
Yeah, good. Just so you know, for scheduling wise, there was a woman in Big Sky who came up to me and she said, "I have been to the Global Truth Center in Westlake 3 times, and you were never the speaker." She goes, "The first speaker was this Andrea Arlington, who was brilliant. I don't know how you can be better than her." Yeah. And then she talked about Liza and Tiffany. She goes, "All 3 of them were great." She goes, "But I'd love to show up someday and actually have you be there." I will be here every Sunday for the rest of this year. All September, October, November, December. I'm not taking any Sundays off. Even the Saturday nights I'm in Palm Springs, I'm driving back to be here on Sunday. That will shift in 2025 when I will miss 1 Sunday a month, which is when I'll be in Palm Springs. But that's my commitment through all of 24 and 25. So it'll only be the 3rd Sunday of every month that I'll be missing in 2025. So I will make sure everybody knows that. People don't go, "Do you ever go work at your church?" Yeah. But I'll still be doing 2 Palm Springs every month. Yes. Bring them up, Connie. I know we're running late today, but obviously. Wow. Nice job. Whoa, okay.
Good morning. As you can see, we had a lot of energy in youth ministry today. We talked about wisdom. I'm just going to do the speaking because otherwise we could be here a long time. We talked about wisdom in terms of choices, and we make choices that may take us in a direction we like, or it might take us in a direction we don't like. Then we went a little deeper and talked about the thing within us, that knowledge, that knowing within us, that is that guide that helps us to make choices that are for our better, for our greatest and highest good. And what we did was we took these awesome canvases and we found images in a bunch of magazines that helped remind us of that inner knowing, things that helped propel us into choices that bring us that highest and greatest good.
Wait, I'm sorry. Tell me, what is your name? Wait, oh, sorry. What is your name?
Elio.
So, Elio, why did you choose a bottle of Tylenol for your picture?
To be funny.
That's hysterical. I'm looking at the
my
picture
world.
going, why did this little child pick a Tylenol bottle? And he
Well,
also likes the color.
The big thing is that we realized that each one of these boards has something completely different. So that drive or that inner knowing is a little bit different for each of us. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Not only okay,
And there's a
it's the
fox
best
over
thing
there.
ever. There's a what?
A fox.
Where?
She put where is it?
It's
No,
a
no,
red.
no. No,
What?
this is a fox.
Oh, I didn't see you put that
It
on there.
looks
That's
like
cool.
a friend of mine. Yeah.
Friend of yours. But as you can see, they embellished it. They did a lot of really cool things to it. I think Lexi put food on hers because she says that's a deep drive for her food. But I just wanted you guys to be able to see the cool things they put on their boards, the effort they put into it, and all of this is based on just an innate knowing, an innate drive to excel and expand our lives.
And one last thing. If we could all join together, would you play?
Oh, right.
Here we
I
go.
forgot almost.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lexi. Happy birthday to you. Tomorrow, Lexi will
daggers.
turn 11 years old. There you go. Okay, let's give it up for the kids.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Okay. I invite you all to take a deep breath. Singers, come on up. Thank you for being here a little longer today. I wasn't sure how long now that I do 2-hour lectures, good luck. So, I am very grateful to be back. I'm very grateful to feel like I'm in day one of my ministry again. I'm very grateful to all the teachers whose shoulders I stood upon and to all the students who have become my teachers. I am so grateful for everything that I know is unfolding for me and for this amazing center. I know that this day brought everything necessary for each one of us in the room, online, to make our lives that much richer, that much better, that much more grounded and understood. And I just step out of the way of life, dive off of that diving board, and allow this beautiful, loving field to guide me along this breathtaking journey called life. And so I say thank you. I let it be so. As we all say together, and so it is. I invite you to stand as Kevin takes us out.
Wow, we really missed all of you, so it's great to be back. There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was in hand. And now I know if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go.
Let it go, everybody. Just let it go. Yeah.
Let it all go. And this is what I've got to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit
sound